Well, good morning, Avon representatives and leadership. We have a special guest today, and before we introduce her, I just want to tell you what we're going to be doing. We're calling this series the 4 Weeks of Financial Success. So every week we're going to have a leadership, established leadership or a new representative to share with you how to be successful in your business. Now, at the end of each session, we are going to post on our website our Leadership Loop. We're going to have the recording for you so that you can go back and share this with your team as well as take notes. And what we want you to do is take the things that you learned and put them into play that week. And we want to hear about it. So we want this to be interactive. On the Leadership Loop, please share with us your ideas or what you did or what you heard. Hey, I'm going to try that. We want it to be really interactive because we want to see you grow your business and rock this business out like you've never before. But let me introduce you to my special guest. Donna Reid Mitchell. Do y'all know who she is? I met her many years ago. When I first joined Avon as a district manager, we have mutual people that we know and mentors. And I was so thrilled to meet her and how she grew her business. Now I don't like to read, but I want to make sure I get everything straight. So I did write all these things about her I wanted to share because I know she's kind of shy. Did y'all know that? Not really. Well, I just want to tell you about Donna. Donna has a team of over 1,200 people. This is her last year's, and she has almost $4 million in sales volume. Woohoo! She was number 16 in the leadership in the nation, and number 6 for total unit sales increase. Now, wouldn't y'all like to have those stats? And then I want to tell you a little bit about Donna. 2007, she was a woman of enterprise. She's also the author of Accelerated Success. You see I have my copy. This is a great book. She's going to talk about that. And she built this business in 20 months. So it can be done. And Donna's going to talk to you about that. But I think her most important role is she's a mother. And she's a mother of 2 children. And she started this business as a mom. And I think that's the most important thing about her. She's very genuine. And I think you're going to enjoy hearing from her. So I'm going to mute myself. And I want this to be about Donna sharing with you her goals and how she made this business and sharing her tips. So Donna, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Tina. I've been looking forward to this. So do you want me to go ahead and share my Avon story?
Yeah,
now?
Go ahead and share your story and share the tips. And if you'll please talk about this wonderful book we want you to share too.
Okay, well, let me tell you, this year marks 13 years since I've been with Avon. And what I truly like is I get so excited by my business every day. I've had some wonderful milestones with Avon. But Tina, like you said, my children are very important to me. They are my why. Their why started Avon 13 years ago, and I'll tell you about that. But I can just say 2 weeks ago, I went to Vegas and I had another Avon milestone. Of all the accolades I've had, I think this one would stand out the most to me because my son came with me to Las Vegas as my official Avon business partner. Okay. I'm not going to get emotional. And that meant so much to me. It took 13 years because when I signed on, my son was 6 years old. And you have no idea how proud I was to be able to walk into an Avon event with my son as my co-applicant. So I would definitely encourage the leaders on. Stick with it. It only took me 13 years to achieve that major milestone because success is measured by different things. The money, that's important, yes, but the sense of pride I got from taking my son as my official co-applicant, my official business partner, that was something emotional. I was not prepared for that. So I want you to know it's worth hanging in. Okay, let me go back to the beginning of my career. I had to share that. And you know what? I think it was his first and it may be his last because I went in feeling good about my Avon business and what I was doing. You just shared that I was number 16 in the nation. And I'm sitting there being recognized for being number 16. And he turned over Tina and he said to me, Mommy, why aren't you in the top 10? And I said, son, do you have any idea how hard it is to be number 16? And he said, you need to fix that. You need to work harder. So now I've come back. I thought I was working hard enough. But that just shows how important it is. I've always valued partnering with people that had bigger dreams and goals than myself. So I encourage my team members, find someone that will help to keep you accountable, that will help to stretch you. For me, that's my children. So I just threatened them. Unless he was nicer, I may not take him back next year. But Avon do make dreams come true. So I started my Avon business 13 years ago while I was in New York. I worked in a salon in my other life before Avon. I was a hairstylist. And I was doing pretty good. I had a very good clientele and I loved what I was doing. But then I had my daughter. You know, every hairstylist, their dream is to have a daughter. So I could just make beautiful every day. So after having her, I was just not ready to go back to work in the salon when she was 2 months old. So at 3 months old, when my daughter was 3 months old, I actually signed on with Avon and Mary Kay the same day because I wanted to see what both had to offer. I paid $10 to sign on with Avon and $100 to sign on with Mary Kay. And the lady who signed me up with Mary Kay, she talked me into doing, you know, that stock up opportunity. So $650 later, I had all the Mary Kay products I needed to serve me for 4 years. But then I got so much more excited looking through the Avon brochure. I have 5 sisters, so I was shopping for my sisters, for my mother, for myself. I was just so thrilled. The person who signed me up, I was her second and her last recruit. I remember calling her a few days after I was signed up, and I said, I was so excited because I had some orders and I needed her help. And she said, oh, speak to the district manager. I don't think I'm going to bother with this leadership thing because I'm not finding any good people. You can imagine how crushed I was my first week into Avon. But I tried to use every experience in life as a learning experience. And what I learned from that is never discount anyone you bring on board. She discarded me. I was her second and her last recruit. Can you imagine if she had stayed on as an ambassador, earning from a $4 million business, what her earnings would be like? So I have learned from that experience to treat every single person that comes on board as my next superstar, because you just never know. So after that, I reached out to the district manager. And I had a wonderful district manager when I started. And I valued the relationship with the district manager because of that experience, because my district manager taught me everything I needed to know about my Avon business. She was there. I was there in the field with her, and I got pretty excited. The person who signed me up did not tell me about leadership. And at that time, I thought I'd be coming on board just to sell lipstick and bubble bath and roll-ons, because that was my experience with Avon. But the first meeting I went to, my eyes were open wide because the district manager played an excerpt from the video, The Rich and Famous. And it was then I realized that you could make real money with Avon. I saw Lisa Wilbur sharing her experience. I saw Vonda McKenzie sharing her experience. And I was like, wow, if they can do it, I can do it too. So trainings are very important. That is where you get that boost that you need to help you to dream bigger. And then I was playing a little bit Avon. I can honestly say for my first 3 months, I didn't make much money. No fault of the companies, because I was my biggest customer. Each time the order would come in, I would sort my products first. I would get the stuff for myself, for my mother, for my sister. And then I'd say, how come I'm not making any money? I wasn't taking into account that half the stuff in that order was mine. So I hope that none of you are doing that, right? 13 years later, I'm a much wiser business person. I write an invoice for my personal sales, and I try to limit myself. And guess what? The products I buy and I use, I write them off from my taxes but as a business expense because I'm using them to promote my business. I share the only place I do not shamelessly promote my business is at my place of worship, because that is sacred for me. But by wearing the jewelry, wearing the makeup, wearing the perfume from head to toe, I still generate some interest there. So we can be smart about promoting our business. So about 6 months into my Avon business, I suddenly became a single mother. I was happy with my Avon earnings. My goal when I started was just to earn $100 per month, and I was hitting that mark. But then when my personal circumstances changed, I realized I had to change the activities so now I could take care of myself and my children. Met with my district manager and told her exactly where I needed my business to be. And then I had to change my activities. So when you have big dreams and big goals, bear in mind you have to change the activities that you're engaging in. Because when I started out, my goal, like I said, was $100. So I was purchasing 10 brochures every campaign, distributing them, was not recruiting aggressively. But as my dreams and my goals changed, I knew I doubled my recruiting activity. My goal then became 5 recruits per campaign, and I held myself accountable. I started distributing hundreds of brochures per campaign. So just make sure that your goals are aligned with your actions. If you have big goals, you have to be willing to put the work in to achieve your goals. Started recruiting, I became a unit leader in 2 campaigns. And you know what, Tina, I want to share my numbers with your audience because I had realistic goals when I started, and I do not want your team members to set unrealistic goals. And I share my earnings with my team members to keep it realistic, because I think so many people come on board and they get disillusioned because they expect to get rich quick. And that's called that's a scheme. It's not a business. So build your business gradually and it will pay off. When I became a unit leader, my first check was $62.15. And my children and I, we celebrated that. We did the happy dance, not because of the amount, but it was then I knew that it was real. I just wanted to get one check to reinforce my belief in the Avon earning opportunity. And now Avon is throwing so much more at us for getting involved in leadership. And then I said, okay, this thing is real. I went on, I worked my business very hard. And then 7 campaigns later, I became an executive. At that time, it was executive unit leader. My first check as an executive unit leader was $1,201. And I was thrilled because that could cover my rent for my business. But that was not enough to fulfill my dreams and my goals. So I continued working my business. And then my first check as a senior executive unit leader was $2,672. And I have learned that every time you move title in Avon, you double your earnings. So for those leaders that are on, if you want to give yourself an increase, you can give yourself an increase by doubling your earnings. And you give yourself an increase by moving title. Because each time you move title, you get an increase in your earnings. So I would definitely encourage you, be proud of what you are, where you are. So if you're an ambassador, celebrate that. If you are a silver ambassador, gold ambassador, feel good about what you have accomplished, but do not get too comfortable. Tell yourself that you deserve to earn more, and you can earn more by moving your title. So I went on, the most rewarding part of my Avon business is being able to take care of my children. Like I said, they are my why and they keep me motivated. I learned pretty early, within 2 years, I was able to work my Avon business full time because I was making more. I think I went back to work in the salon when my daughter was close to a year old. And within a year of working my Avon business part-time, I was making more from my part-time business than I was making working full-time in the salon. Working in the salon, I was missing out on everything my son was doing on a Saturday because that was my busiest day. And after a year, when I saw that my Avon earnings consistently passed what I was making in the salon, I took the leap of faith. And I've had no regrets so far. I'm able to be at everything that's important to my children. And you know how important that is. They grow so quickly, no one prepared me for that. Some things I've learned you would never get a second chance to experience with your children. So every significant milestone in my children's life, I can be there because of my Avon business. And now I'm able to not only take care of my children, but I'm also, for the past almost 3 years, I've been taking care of my mom. My mom lives with me now. And that is so rewarding, being able to take care of my children and my mother. People that means the most to me. So I would definitely encourage you to work your Avon business hard. Because of my responsibilities taking care of my mom, I have to be very structured. And that's why Tina mentioned earlier. This book, I think we completed in 2007. And I use this to help me to be structured so that I'm using my time efficiently. So every day I know the activities I'll be engaging in, because it can get overwhelming when you have so much to do. But I want to make sure that my time is spent in an efficient way. So I would definitely encourage you. Avon is still one of the best earning opportunities on the market. Remember, we are rewarded for our efforts. So the more you put into the business, the more you can get out of it. Do not limit yourself. Make use of every single earning opportunity there is. We have the fundraising opportunity. We have having beauty parties. I'm so excited. We now have the Planet Spa. I'm getting tongue twisted. Haven't had my coffee as yet. Planet Spa. That's an opportunity for us to have fun parties. So I keep trying to make my Avon business fun and engaging. This is what I see myself doing beyond retirement, because I'm having so much fun. I do not see myself retiring from my Avon business. So my goal is to make it fun and profitable. But I'm willing to work hard. And I know if we work hard enough, partnering with our people, because without our team members, we are nothing. So I know if I focus on helping my team members to achieve their dreams, their goals, then I will be able to achieve my dreams and my goals. So I know you said that you had fielded some questions. Tina, when you're done, do you have any questions from your leaders? I'd be happy to answer some of them. Give me the easy ones first, please.
Look, all pretty easy. Thank you, Donna, so much for doing this for us. Having read your book and used that as a tool and a guide, I really do recommend everyone purchase that, and we'll make sure we get that information on how to do that and get that on our link for you. But the first question we have is, what is the one thing that you did in leadership that you think made the biggest impact on your team growth?
Being consistent.
Okay.
Every campaign, every week, I'm consistently adding new team members, because with the best of training, the best of support, life happens, and we will recruit people that will not be able to start their business because life happens. They will have personal stuff. So we have to consistently add new team members. And that is what I try to tell my team. Recruiting cannot be sporadic. I tell them you can work your business part-time, you can work it full-time, but you cannot work it sometime. So we have to make sure that every campaign, we're putting new team members. And I try to make sure that my additions outweigh my removals every campaign. So consistency is what makes the difference between having a good business and a great business.
I love that. Another question they had was, what is one thing that you think made the biggest impact on getting and gaining new customers and new sales?
Ooh. And you know what? In the conversation we had earlier, we spoke about going back to some of the basics. When I started 13 years ago, I was out every day looking for new customers. My goal was to distribute 20 brochures per day. And now my sister has joined my leadership team, and we have been doing that every day. And we're getting calls every day. So it's the same thing, consistency. So I try to carve out at least 1 hour every day to go and distribute brochures. And we have printed within a 5-mile radius of where we live, and we're trying to cover that. 1 hour every day, you can distribute up to 50 brochures. And we try to do it in the evening when we can have a conversation with people who are home. I find I get better results when I have a conversation with someone than just tossing or leaving a book on the door. So we target business places where we can introduce ourselves, put a face behind that brochure so they can remember who that brochure was left by.
Okay.
And we try to get a contact number also that we can follow up with.
I love that. I love that. The fortune is in the follow-up. And they asked, the key to the success in growing your business to $4 million in unit sales. What do you feel like that?
A lot of hard work. And you'll hear me mention throughout my conversation how important it is to identify the why. So I try to find out for my team members with over 1,200 people, the conversation I have with them, I try to find out what's their why. Why are they working their Avon business? And I use that every campaign to keep them reminded. So team members may join now because it's coming up to graduation time. I had 4 people that signed up last week, and they're working to finance their child graduating from high school. I will use that to stimulate them to sell more. We set goals as to how much they need to sell every campaign, and I use that to motivate them. And I reward my team members along the way. For orders over $1,000, I send a $25 gift card. So I put little rewards in the way to keep my team members encouraged. And we try to focus to look for the deals that Avon has to offer. And we set targets as trying to sell as many of those deals as possible. So we do focus on product focus based on the needs of our of what's happening in our community. Fundraisers is something that we're getting on to now. I'm so excited. One of my leaders just secured a fundraiser with a private school, 350 students, and they're using the Bug Guard fundraising flyer. So it's just tapping onto the promotions that Avon has and seeing how many of my team members I can engage. $4 million is a lot of lipstick, bubble bath, and a nail. But our products are still the best on the market. I believe wholeheartedly in the products. And it's interesting, Dawn, every campaign I still come across people just being onto my day-to-day activity that have not seen an Avon brochure in years. Do you find that happens in your market as well?
Absolutely. It's an amazing thing. And when they say, well, I haven't seen a book in years, and you're just like, oh my gracious, we can fix that.
That tells me that there is still a need, and it's a potential for each of us to sell more. So I'm excited.
Lots of opportunity out there. Those of us that read your book when you first came out with it have got a question of now, since that time, are you doing anything different? Are you mentoring or coaching any different? Have you grown? Are you doing things different than you did when you did your book?
That's a good question. I've never asked that one before. And I would say, no, I've added to what I'm doing, but the principles that was in that book still stands true. The 7 steps that I mentioned in that book, and let me just share that. Those principles are timeless. So I've added to what I'm doing, but I have not changed that because it's still important. I have found the biggest thing is identifying the why. Because if you do not know why you are here, that's the one thing that keeps me waking up at 6 o'clock, working my business every day. Because my why is so clear, so well defined. The why will change, so I keep adding to it. 13 years ago when I started, my why was to provide the best life for myself and my 2 children. I've added to that. My why, my big motivation now is to provide the best life for myself, my children, and my mom. So I'm even more motivated now than when I started. The how, we still need to know how we are going to fulfill our dreams and our goals. And then the tools have changed, but tools are still very important. I'd say we have gotten more efficient tools. Absolutely love what Avon has done with our tools. 13 years ago, I had to be creating so much stuff for myself. It's there. I just need to click, download, print. And the training and events, priceless. The representatives, as you know, Dawn, that participate in our trainings and our events perform on a much better basis than those that do not. And I still avail myself of all the trainings that Avon has. As a matter of fact, starting this evening, when I'm through with this call, that's what I'm going to be preparing for. I just enrolled in the AUL Academy. So for the next, I think it's 6 to 8 weeks, this is what I'm going to be doing because I'm a firm believer. The more you learn, the more you earn. So I'm going to be preparing for my first module this evening, visionary planning. So trainings and events are key. And then I celebrate little milestones along the way. So for every promoter, every star promoter, all the way, I acknowledge and make a big to-do about the little milestones on the team members. And if you do practice all those things, you can always, like when our program changes, the names of our titles may change, but the activities that we still need to engage in to get the results have not changed.
I have one last question for you. And again, we do appreciate your taking your time. And we are so impressed with everything that you do. What advice do you give someone who is struggling to grow their leadership business?
And you know what? I would say that all of us have challenges, regardless of how well your business is doing. We have challenges. I like partnering with someone who has bigger dreams and goals than I do. I have accountability partners that keep me motivated because I get discouraged sometimes. I get drained sometimes. But I try to have at least 2 partners that will help to lift me up, that will help to stretch me. And I value that. I have mentors that keep me pumped up. And I try to keep reinforcing myself with positive stories. I do not feed into the negative because that will just drain I do not need the negative energy. So I do not get caught up in all this stuff and the fluff because that will discourage you. So I choose what I feed my mind on.
We thank you for that. And anyone else have any other questions? Tina, back to you.
Thank you, Dawn. Thank you so much for joining us today. This has been great, and I hope that everybody's taking notes as they play this back. I mean, I know I was. I got scribble scrabble all here. And what we'll do is we'll also post this recording on our leadership loop, and each manager will also email this out, and we'll give it to Donna as well, so if she wants to share with her team. And we'll also put the link to the brochure. Not the brochure, I'm sorry, her book. Because what we would like to do for the next 4 weeks, we would like for you to go work along with us with this book so we can help you organize your team. And like you heard Donna say, I think it's so important what she said is you've got to earn. You've got to learn to earn. You've got to keep going. I feel it's like part of your spirituality in your business. You've got to keep on, reminding yourself and being positive and learning every day. Even if you know it, we think sometimes we know everything, but going back and reading, you see this book I have that I got from Donna, I have used this for, almost 10 years. When I purchased the book in 2007 when she first wrote this book. And it's a simple plan. Anybody can do it, but it does take hard work. But I want to thank you so much. Thank you, Donna. It has been so great. I just love your story. It's just so motivational to us, and we appreciate you. Now, one thing I want to tell you about Donna, too, I was sitting here trying to find her favorite song, but I couldn't do it. So I'm going to play some music. Would you share with us your favorite song, Donna?
One of my all-time favorite songs is I Hope You Dance, because the words are so uplifting, so positive. And I'm happy you mentioned that. I'm so thrilled to be a part of RepFest, celebrating our 130th anniversary. And I promise if you come to RepFest, you'll get to hear that song. So if you have not yet registered for RepFest, please do so. I still have team members and representatives share how exciting it was to be a part of the 125th anniversary celebration and the positive impact it had on their business by being there. So I know it's a little investment, but it's an investment in yourself that will pay off several times over. And we were told on Friday that we can get to use our points that we have earned. We can get to use those towards our air travel, recruit more, sell more. Getting to RepFest will be worth the investment. So I would definitely encourage you to do that. And we have the local events, the 130th events coming in. So we get to start the party now, and then we'll have the big conclusion in August in Las Vegas. And guess what? It may be a little hot, but with Avon Ladies, we are going to take Las Vegas by storm. It will be worth coming out. Forget about the heat. We will make sure it works for us. And Tina, I still have my books available. Just email me at hello.avon@hotmail.com. I'll be happy to share the book with you. And like I said, it's so important to reinforce the positive stories. One of my favorite book series is the A View from the Top series. Thanks to Lisa Wilbur, we've had 3 in the series. And this one, volume 2, I was featured in volume 2. It's a compilation of success stories from 25 of Avon's top performing leaders. It's a must read. This is something I send as a gift to all my new title representatives because I have benefited so much from the other top performing seniors sharing their success stories. So if you are interested, email me please, hello.avon@hotmail.com. And I look forward to seeing you at RepFest in August.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And I'm going to play us some music out so we can dance, because every day you heard her say, and let me get my phone off. You heard her say you got to dance and celebrate the small stuff. And we're going to do a series of the top 10 reasons you want to be in Vegas, and we're going to talk about that in a separate webinar. So you want to be there. And I might have a surprise for you guys. I'm going to talk to Donna afterwards. So anyway, let's dance.
What makes you happy?